Okay, in this video I'm going to take a look at statutory leave entitlements in Ireland. What are the actual statutory, the legal entitlements to leave in the workplace in Ireland? Let's take a look first at annual leave. The employee is entitled to 4 working weeks of annual leave, paid leave, if the hours worked in the year exceeds 1365. He or she is entitled to 1/3 of a working week for each month in which the employee worked in excess of 117 hours, or 8% of the hours worked in the year. So you can calculate 8% of the hours worked in a year for a part-time employee, for example, and that will give you the entitlement to paid annual leave. The employee is entitled to whichever of the calculations, these methods of calculation, gives the greatest entitlement. And there's nothing to stop an employer from giving a greater entitlement. But what I'm referring to here is the statutory legal entitlement. Let's take a look at public holidays. There are 9 public holidays in the year in Ireland. These are commonly called bank holidays, but from a legal perspective, a bank holiday makes no sense or isn't really recognised. It's a public holiday we're talking about. Every employee is entitled to either a paid day off on the holiday, or a paid day off that month, or an extra day's annual leave, or an extra day's pay. But the entitlement will depend too on whether the employee is normally obliged or rostered to work on the public holiday. So there is a bit of calculation to be done, but by and large every employee is entitled to a benefit, to a recognition of each public holiday in the country, and there are, as I say, 9 public holidays in the year. We move on to maternity leave then. Female employees entitled to 26 weeks unpaid maternity leave. Now, she may qualify for maternity benefit from the Department of Social Protection, but that's a matter for her and the department as opposed to the employer. In addition, she is entitled to an additional 16 weeks but there's no maternity benefit entitlement in that period. She's also entitled to reasonable time off for medical visits connected with the pregnancy. Okay, adoptive leave. Adoptive leave, an adoptive mother is entitled to 24 weeks, consecutive weeks of unpaid leave. She may qualify for adoptive benefit, but that's a matter for her and the Department of Social Protection. She may also take an additional 16 consecutive weeks unpaid leave, but there's no adoptive benefit available for that period of time. Carers leave then, if employed continuously for 12 months. If an employee is employed continuously for 12 months, then there is an entitlement to 13 weeks up to 104 weeks of unpaid leave. Now clearly 104 weeks is 2 years unpaid leave. There are particular strict enough requirements in terms of the caring and who is to be cared for and so on and so forth, but that's basically the entitlement. An employee may be entitled to carer's benefit or carer's allowance, but again this is a matter for the employee in question and the Department of Social Protection. Parental leave then is another statutory entitlement of employees. There's an entitlement to 18 weeks of unpaid leave for each child under the age of 8, or for each child under the age of 16 if the child has a long-term illness. Forced majeure leave then, this is paid leave. There's an entitlement in law to 3 days in any 12-month period, or 5 days in a 36-month period. As I say, it is paid leave. Paternity leave then, there's 2 weeks paid, there's €230 per week paid leave for fathers since this year. My name is Gorry. I'm a solicitor in Enfield and County Meath, and my contact details there on the screen. I hope you find this video useful.